So today we're going to be looking at our algebraic expressions, which we started writing yesterday, and figuring out what they meant and what they looked like. And today we're going to actually plug some values in and evaluate them. And evaluating an expression just means basically to solve or to simplify means the same thing. So to evaluate an expression is to solve or to simplify. So they're giving us values here. If you look at number 1, they're telling me a equals 1 and b equals 2. This is the expression that they want us to plug into. So the first step in all of these will be to just rewrite this expression. Okay, I'm going to bring it over here and then work down. And then instead of the letters, I'm going to replace the letters, which again are called variables. Let's remind ourselves of that. And they can be any letter they want. We're going to replace the variables with the numbers and then kind of follow the order of operations to simplify. Now, we need to know what this means. We need to know what this means in order to plug in. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to rewrite it over here. So I've got 4b, and instead of writing 4b, I need to replace the b with a 2. So the most common mistake when people first start doing these is they think, okay, well, this is 42. But it's not 42. So yesterday we talked about when a number is next to a letter, that means multiplication. This says 4 times a number. 4 times a number. And now I'm telling you the number's 2. So this is actually 4 times 2. And you can write that any way you want. If you wanted to put them in parentheses, that'll work too. So it's not 42. This is 4 times a number. The number's 2. It's 4 times 2. Plus, and now a to the second power is 1 to the second power. Now, even if you already knew this was 8, I don't want you to write that yet. The first step is to just rewrite everything with the numbers in the right spot. If you mess that up, you can't get the question right. So I want to see how you replaced everything, and then from there, now you can start solving. So following my order of operations, the first step would be to get rid of exponents. So 1 squared is 1. Next is multiplication. So 4 times 2 is 8. And then all I have left is addition, so my answer is 9. So the math isn't difficult there. But if I put 42 and then add 1, I'm going to get 43, way off from the actual answer of 9. So I do need to be careful. It's all about interpreting what these expressions say, and that's why we did all our work yesterday in writing these expressions. So when I come to number 2, if I was going to write what this says, it's some number divided by 4, that's division, plus the same number minus another number. Now, I know it's another number because it's a different variable or different letter. And down here they tell me m is 2 and n is 4. It is possible for both of them to have the same value. If you look down to number 6, x and y both equal -9. Okay, so that is possible. But most of the time, if they're different letters, they represent a different value altogether. So we're going to rewrite this. So maybe we want to put that up here. Step 1, rewrite with numbers. Okay, so step 1, rewrite with numbers. So n over 4, well, n is 4. So that becomes 4 over 4 plus n, which is 4, minus m, which is 2. So step 1, done. Rewrite with numbers. Step 2, simplify, and that's using our order of operations, or PEMDAS. So in this case, 4 divided by 4 is 1. Now I have addition and subtraction. I go from left to right. 1 plus 4 is 5. And 5 minus 2 is 3. Try not to bleed these into each other. Okay, so far so good. So let's look at number 3. In this case, really there's not much going on here except I've got this exponent. After that it's just adding. But this is a very tricky one because the number we're going to put in for y is a -6 and we're going to square it. So how we write this will determine if we get the answer correct or not. So when we rewrite this, the y is -6 plus. Now it's y to the second and y is equal to -6. So the entire value of y is being squared, and the entire value of y in this case is -6. So you must put the -6 in parentheses and square it, because what this is going to be is -6 times -6, which is a positive. If you just write negative 6 squared like this and then plug it in your calculator, that's going to give you negative 36 as the answer. And that's a careless mistake, because what this is saying is just the 6 is squared and the negative is not involved. But what this is saying is the entire value is squared, and the entire value is the whole thing, negative 6. So you have to put it in parentheses. And if you fail to do that and you plug it in the calculator, that's your fault. You told the calculator to do the wrong thing. This is what it should be doing. So plus x is 3 plus another 3. So first step, square, get rid of your exponents. I'm going to leave this negative 6 alone. Remember, this is actually negative 6 times negative 6. So don't even go to the calculator. Okay, the calculator is only going to mess you up, because if you plug this in, it's going to give you the wrong answer. So think for yourself. Don't rely on the calculator. Negative 6 times negative 6 we know is a positive 36. Plus 3 plus 3. Now you just go from left to right. So negative 6 plus 36 is 30. And now I'm just going to add all this up. So my final answer is 36. Okay, so that's really important. When you plug in a negative and it's being squared, you got to put it in parentheses. It's repeated multiplication of a negative number. So it's going to become positive unless you multiply it again, and then it'll be negative. So 14. Let's replace and then simplify. So there's nothing to replace with the 15. It stays inside parentheses y plus x. So it's negative 8 plus 3 squared plus the x is 3. Now, the most common mistake on these types, and we've looked at these with our numerical expressions, the ones that just involve numbers. Okay, this is a numerical expression. And then over here with the letters, that's algebraic expression. Numerical expression, algebraic expression. So we've looked at these. That squared is not on the 3, it's on the parentheses, which means the entire value inside the parentheses is squared. So not the 3, not the negative 8. The total value, the quantity of negative 8 plus 3 is being squared. So the first thing I need to do is actually find out what is the quantity. So negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5. That's what's being squared, not the 3. So again, this, if you don't write it with the parentheses and you plug it in your calculator, it's going to give you the wrong answer. You need to be smarter than the calculator, because it's going to do whatever you tell it to do. If you tell it to do the wrong thing, that's your fault. So it's negative 5 squared. Negative 5 times negative 5. That's a positive. Two negatives make a positive. So it's 15 plus 25 plus 3. Now it's easy. Add them all up. Final answer is 43. Okay. I want to take a look at some absolute value questions, and then one that's just a little bit bigger. So as we look at number 5, these bars, remember, mean absolute value, which is asking how far a number is from 0. How far from 0. And that's always going to be given as a positive answer, because we're just talking about a distance. So even if it's negative 3, how far is negative 3 from 0 is 3 units. So it's always positive. So the basics of this is whatever's inside the bar is going to become positive. So absolute value makes a number positive. So let's rewrite this. H is negative 14 minus the absolute value of 6 divided by 6 plus the absolute value of 6. So if there's something to do inside the absolute value, you must do that first and then find the absolute value. So nothing happens with the negative 14 minus the absolute value, divide, that's 1, plus, and we can do this one, the absolute value of 6. How far is 6 from 0? 6. So it doesn't become negative. It always is positive. So if it's already a positive, it's just going to stay the same. If this was a negative 6, it would become a positive 6. So basically, these absolute value bars make whatever's inside positive. So in this case, that positive 1 is just going to stay a positive 1. And now negative 14 minus 1. Be careful. Do your plus negative if you need to. That's negative 15 plus 6 is negative 9. All right, last one. Kind of looks like a big ugly one. Let's see how we can do on this one. So the y is being multiplied by all of this. So the last thing I'm going to do is this multiplication. it's going to be a negative 9, and I'm going to multiply it by whatever I get for this whole thing. So we're going to put that out front. The y is negative 9 times. Here's what I really need to deal with. So x is negative 9, y is negative 9. So everywhere I see a variable, I'm putting a negative 9. So up top, it's negative 9 plus 6 times the quantity. So this is 6 times this whole thing. Negative 9 minus negative 9. That whole thing's over 3. Okay, so I'm going to just bring this down and kind of work one at a time here. So the negative 9 stays. Up top, addition is going to happen last. I got to do parentheses, and I have to do multiplication. So many people will add this and then multiply by the parentheses, but that's out of order. You must do parentheses first. So negative 9 minus negative 9, that goes plus plus, right? And it's really negative 9 plus 9. So that's 6 times 0. So I have negative 9 plus 6 times 0. Well, 6 times 0 is just 0. And so negative 9 plus 0 is just negative 9. So in the end, this is just going to be negative 9 divided by 3. So this negative 9 stays out front. I know we got a lot of negative 9s here. Negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3. Last thing, like we talked about, is to multiply. So negative 9 times negative 3 gives me my final answer. 2 negatives, when I multiply, give me a positive, and it's 27. All right, so you are going to try the bottom. I'm going to give you the answers, but you, of course, have to show the work. In any of these that you can't figure out and get the right answer, you're going to need to call one of us over and get some help. Okay, so the answer to number 7, if you get it right, is 6. The answer to number 8 is 1. 9 is negative 10. 10 is negative 54. 11 is 8. 12 is negative 9. 13 is 22. And 14 is negative 7. So you are trying those and seeing if you can get the right answer. You must show all the work. Step 1, just replace the numbers, then simplify using your order of operations. So I should see a couple lines of work for each one, trying to get these answers. If you're struggling to get the answers, please get some help. If you can get through all of these and get the right answers, then I'll get you your classwork, and that's what you'll be working on after this.